Welcome to CBF Heartland's virtual General Assembly, the very first of its kind, but maybe not the last. Today, we'll be sharing some important information about what CBF Heartland has been doing and what we will be doing in the months ahead. But mostly, we hope to provide a little inspiration, to uplift your spirits, and to send you on your way knowing that God is active with and among us. Later in this meeting, we'll receive an update on our efforts to Reimagine Together this year. We'll hear from some of our mission partners and what they've been up to, and you'll hear about some new opportunities to engage with CBF Heartland this summer, virtually, of course. And later, we'll have a conversation with Harold Phillips, who recently retired from CBF Heartland after more than 2 decades of service. But first, we're going to hear from you, from the members of CBF partner churches here in the Midwest. We've been asking you to share your thoughts about what you love about your church, what makes you proud of your church, or what makes your church unique. We heard from many of you and are so thankful for your generously sharing your stories with us. The words you shared were warm, the words you shared were touching, the words you shared were inspiring, and there were a lot of them, a lot of words. So we've taken your words and compiled them into a video that we're going to watch together now. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much.
Since 1991, CBF Heartland has been helping Christians and churches discover and fulfill their God-given purpose. We strive to be a partner in renewing God's world through inspiring leaders, transforming missions, and engaging communities. Earlier this year, we invited you to help us reimagine together as we prepare for our next season of serving the Heartland. Led by Chris Gamble from the Center for Congregational Health, we conducted 7 listening sessions with pastors and church leaders from across the Heartland. We gathered in Kirkwood, Columbia, Liberty, and even online. All told, close to 100 individuals from all corners of the region shared their questions and reflections, their commitments and concerns, and their hopes and dreams for CBF Heartland. The listening sessions generated page after page of valuable insight that will help to shape CBF Heartland's future. Your feedback included 50+ innovative ideas for sharing the love and hope of Christ in the Heartland. From the information gathered, 3 strands emerged. These are the central ideas that resonated over and over in our listening sessions. And these are the themes around which CBF Heartland will begin to focus its energy and resources. One strand is connection. As churches and individuals, we have a strong desire to connect. We seek collaboration and partnership to accomplish all that God is calling us to do. And we want to give and receive support, walking beside each other as friends. Another strand is leadership. As churches and individuals, we have a strong desire to lead. We encourage each other to step forward with hands open to service, hearts open to advocacy, and minds open to learning. Another strand is resources. As churches and individuals, we feel a deep need for sharing resources. We sense that God has already given our fellowship what we need to innovate and solve the challenges we face. We want to grow stronger in our faith formation, in using our finances, and in how we share our stories with our communities. Thank you for helping CBF Heartland to reimagine together. We invite you to join us as we engage this new season of ministry and mission.
Church ministry and mission has changed dramatically over the last few months. Some of these changes will be temporary, but some could remain for many years. Where is it all headed? As part of our ongoing work to help Christians and churches discover and fulfill their God-given purpose, CBF Heartland invites you to participate in a series of webinars this summer, where we'll try to forecast what's coming next for congregational ministry and global missions. On Wednesday, July 15th, join us for a panel discussion where we'll explore the future of music ministry, senior adult ministry, children and family ministry. What happens when ministry activities are a possible health risk? What will some of our cherished church ministries look like in the days ahead? On Wednesday, August 19th, join us for a panel discussion focused on global missions. We'll hear from CBF field personnel about recent changes in their work. What are the challenges that may persist into the future? And how will this affect our engagement with global missions? And finally, Wednesday, September 16th, join us for our annual CBF Heartland Business Session, where we'll celebrate ministry highlights from this year and approve a plan for our next year of ministry together. So join us for our summer webinar series, Prepare for the Future, share your experiences and insights, and connect with other ministry leaders and churches.
earlier this year, Harold, you retired officially from CBF Heartland. There was some confusion over the years about, is Harold retired or is Harold not retired? I'm sure that came from a poorly worded press release by me or something. That there was some.
It was from you, yes.
But you are now officially retired, and I wanted to take a minute to check in with you and let everybody hear from you about what's been going on with you. But first, I wanted to just see if we could ask you a little bit about how you got started with Cooperative Baptist Fellowship and where it all began for you with CBF.
Well, this goes back to war stories that you enjoy hearing about.
Right.
But back in the old political days of turn out a crowd to go to a Southern Baptist Convention meeting, I got very involved in that. Did that a little bit in Kentucky before we moved to Second Baptist in Liberty. And then did that. And so we ended up having kind of this database of moderate lay people and pastors. And then when CBF got started, the first group in August of 1990, there was a small group of us that were very active in all of that. And I could rattle off some of those names. They're just tremendous people, and I'd forget two or three. But then in 1994, I think it was, we had our state meeting at University Heights Baptist in Springfield. And I remember T.T. Crabtree, who was the pastor, had been pastor at the time, saying, this group needs somebody who wakes up in the morning thinking about Cooperative Baptist Fellowship. And that was kind of a challenge to all of us. So we set up a search committee, and in the process, I got chosen to be the coordinator and started in 96, I believe it was, in January. And just a tremendous experience. I've told you this story that we started out, we had like $17,000 in the bank. And soon after that, we had a pastor from St. Louis say, we've been covering the cost for this mission project we have going on over in Tilbury, England. And it'd be nice if we got paid back now. So we did that. And by the summer, I think we were literally down to $50 in the bank. And so we sent out an appeal. And this may be a lesson for you right now. Sent out an appeal to churches and individuals, and we created a giving plan that worked for us at the time. Individuals stepped up, and there was no going back. And basically, my job description, just like yours is now, is wake up in the morning. What can I do to enhance the fellowship here in the Heartland, with churches, with individuals, with young leaders, with those of us who are growing in wisdom.
So you did this work for 20 some years, and I know there are tons and tons of great memories for you. What are some of the 2 or 3 fondest memories you have of your time with CBF Missouri and then CBF Heartland?
Well, I'm going to tell you a personal one, and then okay. You may have to edit this one out.
Okay.
One of my favorite memories was being in Homestead, Florida. We were going down there working on this ministry center that's now built. It's all the work that Homestead does, and touching Miami with love and all that operation. So we're up on the roof nailing, and a group of us had gone down, and there were 2 people on either side of me, and we were hammering the shingles in. And somehow we got off on a very touchy social agenda question. And the person on one side and the person on the other side had very different opinions. And I'm going, they could start throwing hammers at each other if we get too deep into this conversation. But the lesson from that was, here they were, very different opinions, both still tremendous friends to this day. One's in St. Louis, one lives in Liberty. But even in the midst of that difference of opinion, we're working together on a common cause to help people in need, in a CBF project. And that to me is one of my images of what CBF can be at our best. There's the Tinkerbell, if anybody wants her, she's available. Yeah. I think for me, one of the other rich memories, and there's so many, like you said, is driving people from students from here to C'est La Vie and having young college students in a van together, sharing that time of traveling and getting to know one another better. And if I can, again, you may want to edit this out, as we would get to know each other better, going down, everybody just kind of sits and stares at each other. And on the way back, we've gotten to know each other because of the retreat, and we're sharing experiences better. Excuse me, Tinkerbell. But many times there would be an African-American guy that was part of the team. And after we got to know each other, trusted each other better, I would ask this person, I want to ask you a very personal question. Can you tell me if you've ever been pulled over for driving while black? And invariably, the answer was yes. And then we would have this very serious, thoughtful conversation about that guy's, usually it was a guy, experience that he had and comparing that with our more majority experiences. And those were tender conversations that we've had along the way. I could go on with 100 others that.
Yeah, those are both really, really good. And I expect, Harold, because of who you are, you'll continue to have experiences like that, conversations like that, even though you're not officially employed with CBF Heartland anymore. I do think, and I wonder sometimes about, in your mind, when you look ahead, you've obviously invested a great deal of your life in making sure this organization thrives and helping it to set on a certain path. What is it that you see, kind of ahead? What's on the horizon when you kind of speculate about what CBF will look like in the future?
Well, I think the easy answer to that is that we're fortunate that you're in charge now. I think the challenges for churches grappling with the just phenomenal change that's going on, demographic, generational change, society understandings of church. The reality for me is that evangelical Christians and Baptists in particular have acquired this horrible reputation. We're not thinking, we don't care, we're not sympathetic, we're all about preserving our past. And it's like, how do you unashamedly be a Baptist in this time when there's this society stigma that says, oh, you're a Baptist? I think that's a real challenge. And then just as you grow, societally, going to church, being part of a church is not as status oriented as it may have been in the past. How do you engage a next generation? And that's where I'm very glad that you're in charge.
Well, thank you, Harold.
You're welcome.
So you are not somebody who is just sitting on the couch every morning and doing nothing. You're very active in your life, obviously civically, still on the Liberty City Council and doing other things as well. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing in your retirement. What do you do to spend your time? What's your passion now?
I can waste more of it now without guilt. That's one thing I can do. Seriously, during the crisis, a neighbor and I have instigated Corona concerts, and on Wednesday at 4:00 in front of William Jewell College, we have just a fun neighborhood gathering of musicians of various talents and types, and we'll do a Corona concert for about 45 minutes, and we like to say we're socially connected but physically distant, and it's just an excuse to get together and break up the week. Some of that. So that's one of the immediate kind of things. I'm working with a group called Clay County African American Legacy, and we're hoping to have a significant memorial in our cemetery in August of next year, honoring about 700 African Americans who are in that cemetery in unmarked graves. We know their names, we just don't know where they are. That's in celebration of Missouri's bicentennial, and Liberty's first settlement was in 1822. So that's a city council thing that we're doing. We worked on a payday lending ordinance, grassroots, did a super job on that. 82% of the voters approved that in November of last year. Had some paid off state rep in Springfield, put a little amendment onto a bill. It's currently on the governor's desk. If he signs it, or if he doesn't sign it and it still becomes law, it's gonna gut the effort that we as grassroots people in Liberty made to try to curtail payday lending, which just shows you're always up against the rich and powerful who are trying to protect themselves doing that. And then, as you know, I love travel, and I love CBF. And so a buddy in Romania and I started a travel group called letsromania.com. Go to our website. And we take small groups of 6, not doing it this year, of course, take small groups of 6 over to Romania. We visit Project Ruth and learn about all that it's doing to transform this pretty rough area of Bucharest. And we have plans to do a Let's Slovakia, where we'll just travel across and see castles and eat a lot of food and have fun stuff. But we're going to spend one day with Shane and Diane McNary in Vajets and learn about the work that they're doing in the schools there and in the community with kids and with families. That's it.
Well, you are not sitting idly by while the world passes along. You are staying busy.
Thank you.
So, Harold, I wanted to just say, speaking personally, and I think on behalf of anybody who considers themselves a CBF person, a cooperative Baptist, I wanted to say thank you for serving CBF and CBF Heartland so well for so many years. I think it is very difficult to imagine this organization and even CBF existing in the way it does, let alone being as strong and vibrant as it is, without your leadership involved since really the beginning. You brought a passion for CBF to work every day. You brought creativity and a positive attitude to every project that you were involved in. You spent countless hours encouraging church leaders and ministers, and you spurred all of us on, I think, to try new ministries, to try new missions, to do good in the world, and to be the presence of Christ wherever you are. So, Harold, I just wanted to say thank you for all you've done.
You're very kind. I cannot imagine anyone better to be leading this group now and into the future than you. You know people, you've got fresh ideas. So it's fun to be a part of CBF Heartland now and seeing your leadership. So thank you.
Well, thank you. The one thing I can't do, Harold, is play the accordion.
Oh.
And so given that you won't be around at every meeting to play the accordion, do you think you could play something for us now for posterity's sake?
Oh, Jeff, you humble me. And of course, that's one of the things I've learned in these Corona concerts. It's like, I'm a shameless self-promoter now. So are you begging me to play?
Yes, I can't right now get on my hands and knees, but I am begging you to please play us something, Harold.
Would you give me 30 seconds?
Sure.
Okay, hold on.
faithful and effective global missions partnership has been a hallmark of the Cooperative Baptist Fellowship since the beginning. Mission service is a commitment we all share. But each church and mission team in the Heartland expresses that commitment in ways that are unique both to their context and to their calling from God. Global missions looks different for everyone. Through the years, CBF Heartland mission teams have been blessed to work alongside CBF field personnel around the globe, from Miami to China to Thailand to Kenya to South Dakota to Slovakia. In each place, we have been invited to partner in renewing God's world. And with each visit, lives and hearts have been changed, including our own. Please watch these updates from some of our current mission partners to hear how the love of Christ continues to impact our world today.
Hi folks, this is Jenny Jenkins coming to you from the future site of the clinic at Magandu. I wanted to take a moment and update you on our progress here. Certainly things have been much slower due to the COVID quarantine here in Haiti. We have been unable to gather work teams together, but we have been able to move forward on several things, in that one of our big challenges is being able to get sand up the mountain. And we have been fortunate enough to locate a dump truck driver that knows the road and is starting to bring loads of sand, so that when the quarantine lifts and the lockdown is done, we will be able to move forward with construction. So we're trying to use this time the best that we can to gather materials and be ready when the door opens. As I enter the work site here from the road, you can see that we've dug out several spaces to be able to put in our first two buildings. One of those buildings will be the depot that will house our power supply. The second building will be the first clinic building that will hold our space for clinic as well as dental in the beginning here. We've been able to start using this road into the property. You can see we still have the massive pile of rock and of dirt that we've dug out. We've been able to put together a small storage building that we are able to use to start holding all of those construction supplies. And we are excited to see where this is beginning to go. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for your prayers. You guys have been absolutely amazing to work with us on this project. And we look forward to, in the next few months, seeing where things have changed and have grown and continuing to move forward here. Hopefully within the next couple of months we will have our first in-ground water tank completed, and we will have the first slab for the first building, as well as several of the retaining walls. We are simply waiting for the quarantine to lift so that we can gather work teams of more than 10 people together to move forward. Our community is still supportive and excited about what will come, and they are just waiting for that moment. We thank you for your prayers. We thank you for your love and your care in so many ways. Thank you.
Bosnian, they started first coming after 1994 here. Since the government was very helpful to them, they offer help with opening businesses and many other things.
Yugoslavia meant to be a multi-religious country, but from the beginning there was always a pool of separation and division. The war was really awful, where you have one neighbor on one side, one neighbor on the other side, and they just fight each other to death. And there is no mercy. There is no, and so that's what happened. They drew the map, and with that, I became a refugee. I couldn't go back. You're not going to be always accepted. It's actually most of the time you'll hit the blank wall. Some people will try to help you, but some people will just ignore you.
The food pantry is a big source for us to meet with the family and to meet with their need. We share the food, we share love, we share prayer, we share understanding, and we meet with the families.
Back in 2014, we started working with the kids in the community.
We had a woman came in an international fellowship center asking us for help to help her fill out a form for immigration. She asked how much you guys are charging, and we said, no, nothing, we are not charging. And she was surprised, she started crying, and she said, since I came here in the United States, I always been charged for whatever I was doing.
I received the same blessing, I received the same gift, and I really feel that I'm called to share the same gift with these people.
Well, thank you for joining us today, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a part of this meeting. We look forward to seeing you again for our summer webinar series on Wednesday, July 15th, looking at a congregational ministry forecast. On Wednesday, August 19th, the global missions forecast. And then finally on Wednesday, September 16th, our CBF Heartland business session. As we go, know that we are thankful for all the ways you engage with CBF Heartland in serving, in giving, in prayer, and we look forward to your fellowship until we meet again.